The tree of life is not a plant, it is your cerebellum. And the moment you understand what that actually means, every sermon you ever heard about Eden, every doctrine about eternal life, every promise the church made about salvation, all of it collapses. The church told you the tree of life was a botanical miracle planted in a garden near the Tigris River, lost to history, guarded by angels with flaming swords, inaccessible until you die and pass their belief test. But in 1740, a Danish anatomist cut open the human brain and found it. He named it Arbor, Latin for tree of life, because when he looked at the cerebellum in cross-section, he saw a trunk, branches, leaves, and roots, an actual tree inside your skull. And here is what the church will never tell you. The Hebrew word for tree in Genesis shares the exact same root as the Hebrew word for spine. Strong's Concordance H6086 and H6096. The ancients did not hide this. They encoded it in plain sight. The tree of life is your central nervous system. This is not theology. This is anatomy. This is neuroscience. This is the bioelectrical manual that was buried under 2,000 years of external salvation doctrine. In the next 30 minutes, I am going to show you the physical structure of the tree inside your brain, the linguistic proof that dismantles the literal interpretation, the monthly regeneration cycle tied to your zodiac sign, the gamma frequency that the ancients called resurrection, and the exact practice for activating it. By the end, you will know why they never wanted you to find out. Let's start with the structure. Open a medical textbook to the section on the cerebellum. You will find a structure that looks exactly like a tree. The trunk, myelinated nerve fibers forming the central white matter core. These are axons wrapped in white insulation, radiating outward from the center in perfect dendritic patterns. This is the Arbor Vitae. The branching structure anatomists named tree of life in 1740. The leaves, over 700 square centimeters of folded cerebellar cortex compressed into thin ridges called folia, Latin for leaves. These are not symbolic leaves. They are the processing surface of your cerebellum, where electrical signals convert into coordinated movement. The roots, 3 cerebellar peduncles connecting downward to your brainstem. The superior peduncle connects to your midbrain. The middle peduncle connects to your pons and contains over 20 million nerve fibers. The inferior peduncle connects to your medulla oblongata and spinal cord. These are the roots extending down into what George Carey called Golgotha, the place of the skull. The fruit, 4 deep cerebellar nuclei embedded in the white matter, dentate, globose, emboliform, and fastigial. Every signal your cerebellum sends flows through these nuclei. These are the outputs, the harvest. Your cerebellum contains over 50 billion neurons. More than half of all the neurons in your entire brain, compressed into only 10% of your brain's volume. This is the densest neurological processing center in your body, and it sits directly above the 4th ventricle, the chamber where cerebrospinal fluid is produced. This is where the encoded instruction manual in Genesis becomes a physiological process. The oil, the Christos, the anointing secretion that must ascend from the lower body. George Carey taught that every month, when the moon enters the same zodiac sign as the sun at your birth, a seed is born in your solar plexus, the manger. Bethlehem, the house of bread. This seed travels up the vagus nerve, the pneumogastric, literally breath stomach, and crosses at the medulla oblongata. Golgotha, the place where the skull meets the spine. The ida and pingala nerves intersect at this point. Opposing currents meet. This is not death, this is an electrical crossing. The crucifixion is a voltage event. From there, the oil enters the cerebellum, the tomb. It remains here for 2.5 days, the exact duration Christ remained in the tomb, circulating through the Arbor Vitae, being refined by 50 billion neurons processing coordination, balance, timing. Then it ascends through the superior cerebellar peduncle to the pineal gland and the optic thalamus, the light of the world. This is the tree of life. Not a botanical structure in Mesopotamia, a neurological structure in your brain. The branches are nerve fibers, the leaves are processing cortex, the fruit is electrical output, and the harvest happens every single month. But the physical structure alone is not the smoking gun. The real proof that the church has been hiding this for centuries is buried in the language itself. Strong's Concordance, the most widely used biblical reference tool in Christianity, trusted by scholars, pastors, seminaries worldwide, and it contains the evidence that dismantles the entire literal interpretation of the tree of life. Open Strong's Hebrew lexicon to entry H6086. The Hebrew word translated as tree in Genesis 2:9, the tree of life, is etz. The definition reads, tree, wood, timber, stick, gallows. Standard botanical meaning. Nothing unusual yet, but scroll down to the root word. H6095, atseh. Definition, to fasten, to make firm, to close. Now look at the next entry. H6096, same root, atseh. Definition, the spine, the backbone. The Hebrew word for tree and the Hebrew word for spine come from the exact same linguistic source, the concept of firmness. The structural support, the central pillar that holds everything upright. This is not interpretation. This is etymology. The ancient Hebrew lexicon makes it explicit, the tree of the body which provides its uprightness. When Genesis says God placed the tree of life in the midst of the garden, it is describing the spine in the midst of the body. When it says the tree produces fruit, it is describing the outputs of your nervous system. The tree is the spine, not as metaphor, as language, but it gets better. Turn to the Greek New Testament. Revelation 22:2 describes the tree of life in the New Jerusalem. On either side of the river was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. The Greek word for tree in this passage is not dendron, the standard Greek word for a living, growing botanical tree. It is xylon, Strong's G3586. Dendron means a natural tree, roots in soil, leaves in sunlight, biological growth. Xylon means wood, timber, framework, structure. It appears in contexts of construction, stocks for holding prisoners, the cross of crucifixion. It emphasizes work structure, built support, not living plants. The writers of Revelation had both words available. They chose xylon deliberately. Why would the tree of life in paradise be described with a word that means structural framework instead of living plant? Because it is not a plant, it is architecture, the framework of your nervous system, and here is where the encoding becomes undeniable. The Kabbalistic tree of life, the diagram every mystery school has studied for millennia, maps directly onto human anatomy. The central pillar is called the cav. It represents the spinal column. 10 spheres called sephiroth align along this pillar from Malkuth at the root, your sacrum, to Keter at the crown, your skull. The 7 primary spheres correspond to the 7 chakras, energy centers along the spine. This is not Jewish mysticism making up correspondences. This is the original instruction manual showing you where the tree actually exists. Every esoteric tradition, Hermeticism, Gnosticism, alchemy, Freemasonry encoded the same knowledge. The tree of life is the spine, the fruit is the secretion, the garden is the body. And the church took this physiological blueprint and turned it into a fairy tale about a botanical garden in Iraq that was destroyed by a flood, so you would never look inside your own body for the structure that grants eternal life. But the structure alone and the linguistic proof are still incomplete without understanding the timing. Because the tree of life in Revelation does not produce fruit randomly, it produces 12 kinds of fruit, one every month, and that monthly cycle is the key to everything. Revelation 22:2 says the tree of life bears 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month, not once, not randomly, every single month, 12 times per year. The church taught you this was symbolic poetry about abundance in a future paradise. But George Carey decoded what it actually means. Your body produces a regenerative secretion on a monthly cycle tied to the zodiac. Every 29.5 days, the moon completes a full orbit around Earth and returns to the same zodiac sign. When the moon enters the same sign as the sun at your birth, a physiological event occurs in your solar plexus. A seed is born. If you were born when the sun was in Aries, your monthly regeneration window opens when the moon enters Aries. If you were born in Virgo, it opens when the moon enters Virgo. This is not astrology as entertainment. This is astrobiology. The moon governs the fluids in your body the same way it governs the tides in the ocean. The solar plexus, the network of nerves behind your stomach, is what the ancients called Bethlehem, the house of bread, the manger where the Christ child is born. Not 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, every month in your abdomen, this seed, the sacred secretion, the Christos, the oil, is produced by the claustrum, 2 thin sheets of gray matter on either side of your brain. It differentiates in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. The pineal produces the electrical component. The pituitary produces the magnetic component, honey and milk. The land flowing with milk and honey is your brain. During your 2.5-day lunar window, this oil descends from the claustrum down into the solar plexus. It gestates there, and if conditions are right, if you preserve it, it ascends back up through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the pneumogastric. Pneumo means breath, gastric means stomach. This is the nerve that connects your gut to your brain, running up either side of your spinal column. It is the pathway of ascension. the Jordan River that Jesus was baptized in, not a river in the Middle East, the river of cerebrospinal fluid flowing through your spine. The oil travels up the vagus nerve and arrives at the medulla oblongata, the base of your skull where the spine meets the brain. Golgotha, the place of the skull, the crucifixion site. At this point, the ida and pingala nerves cross. In yogic tradition, these are the two opposing currents, solar and lunar, masculine and feminine, electrical and magnetic. When they intersect at the medulla, the oil crosses from one side to the other. This is the crucifixion, not death, an electrical crossing point where opposing polarities meet. From the medulla, the oil enters the cerebellum. The tomb, it circulates through the Arbor Vitae for exactly 2.5 days, the same duration Christ remained in the tomb. 50 billion neurons refine this secretion, processing it through the densest neurological structure in your body, and then, on the third day, it ascends. It rises through the superior cerebellar peduncle to the pineal gland and the optic thalamus. The pineal is the third eye. The single eye that, if it be full of light, fills the whole body with light. The optic thalamus is the light of the world, the structure that processes visual information and governs conscious awareness. This is the resurrection, not a one-time event after physical death, a monthly opportunity for regeneration encoded in your biology. The 12 fruits are the 12 zodiac cycles, one every month. This is why Revelation describes the tree standing on both sides of the river. The oil flows up both the left and right vagus nerves simultaneously. This is why it bears different fruit each month. Each zodiacal cycle activates different aspects of consciousness. Your body gives you 12 chances per year to complete this circuit. 12 opportunities to raise the oil, preserve it in the tomb, and resurrect consciousness. But timing alone is not enough. You can know when the window opens and still fail to activate it, because the resurrection is not just a fluid journey. It is an electrical event, and the oil is useless without the frequency. Your neurons operate between negative 90 millivolts and positive 40 millivolts. The resting potential sits at approximately negative 70 millivolts. The threshold for firing is negative 55 millivolts. When a neuron crosses that threshold, an action potential cascades through the Arbor Vitae's myelinated fibers at speeds up to 100 meters per second. The cerebrospinal fluid surrounding these structures has an electrical conductivity of 1.79 Siemens per meter, significantly higher than other brain tissues. It is not just a cushion protecting your brain from impact. It is an ionic conductor carrying electrical signals through the system. The oil is electromagnetic. And the resurrection, the event the church promised you would happen after death if you believed correctly, is actually a frequency shift that happens in your brain while you are alive. Delta waves, 0.5 to 4 Hertz, deep sleep, unconsciousness, the death state. Most of humanity operates here even while awake, spiritually dead, metabolically alive, moving through life on autopilot. Theta waves, 4 to 8 Hertz, the threshold of the subconscious, meditation entry, memory access, hypnagogic states between waking and sleeping. Alpha waves, 8 to 14 Hertz, relaxed awareness, the resting state of a calm mind. Eyes closed, breath steady, nervous system at ease. Beta waves, 14 to 30 Hertz, normal waking consciousness. The frequency of survival thinking, problem-solving, analytical thought, egoic awareness. This is where most people spend their entire lives. And then there is gamma. Gamma waves, 30 to 100 Hertz and beyond, peak consciousness, unified awareness, the resurrection frequency. Nobel laureate Francis Crick, the man who discovered the structure of DNA, proposed that the 40 Hertz gamma oscillation is the key to the act of cognition itself. He called it the binding frequency, the rhythm that synchronizes disparate regions of the brain into unified conscious experience. Researcher Rodolfo Linaz at New York University demonstrated that gamma waves sweep your brain from front to back 40 times per second, binding sensory information from sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste into a single coherent perception of reality. Without gamma, you do not have unified consciousness. You have fragmented sensory input with no observer to integrate it. Tibetan Buddhist monks with over 10,000 hours of meditation practice show extraordinarily high gamma synchrony. Their brains hum at frequencies most humans never access. Neuroscientist Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin measured gamma activity in these monks that was off the scale, levels of synchronization between brain regions that had never been recorded in ordinary subjects. And here is the critical data point. Gamma waves disappear completely under anesthesia. When consciousness ends, gamma stops. When gamma returns, consciousness returns. This is not correlation. This is causation. Gamma is the electrical signature of awareness itself. The ancients called this resurrection. Neuroscience calls it gamma state ionization. And the pineal gland, the third eye, the single eye, the light of the body, is the biological antenna tuned to receive it. The pineal contains piezoelectric calcite crystals. These are non-centrosymmetric crystalline structures that convert mechanical pressure into electrical voltage. When cerebrospinal fluid circulates through the pineal during the 2.5-day refinement period, these crystals generate current. The pineal responds to extremely low-frequency electromagnetic fields between 50 and 60 Hertz, nearly identical to gamma wave frequencies. This is not coincidence. The pineal is electromagnetically tuned to the resurrection frequency. When the oil completes its journey from the solar plexus, crosses at Golgotha, refines in the cerebellum, and arrives at the pineal, the calcite crystals activate, voltage spikes, the optic thalamus illuminates, and gamma synchrony cascades across your cortex. This is what it means to be born again, not accepting a doctrine, not believing a creed. Shifting your brain from beta survival consciousness to gamma unified awareness. The 33 vertebrae of your spine correspond to 33 years of Christ's life and the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. This is encoding. The resurrection is the ascent through 33 levels of spinal circuitry to activate the gamma state at the crown. The oil rises, the frequency shifts, the tomb opens, and consciousness resurrects. Every single month, your biology gives you this opportunity. But here is what the church will never tell you. You cannot force gamma through belief. You cannot manufacture resurrection through prayer alone. You cannot activate this frequency by attending service on Sunday. The circuit requires specific conditions, and if you do not create them, the oil spills before it reaches the tomb. You cannot raise the oil through belief. You cannot activate gamma frequencies through faith. You cannot resurrect consciousness by reading scripture or attending church. The circuit requires specific physiological conditions, and George Carey gave you the exact protocol. First, know your window. Calculate when the moon enters your sun sign. If you were born when the sun was in Taurus, your regeneration window opens when the moon enters Taurus. This happens once per month, every 29.5 days. You can find this timing using any lunar calendar or ephemeris. Mark it, protect it. This is your 2.5-day window when the seed is born in your solar plexus and the oil can ascend. Second, silence the lower centers. Matthew 6:6 says, "Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret." The closet is your skull. The door is your senses. Shut the door means withdraw sensory input. Stop flooding your nervous system with external stimulation. Every distraction pulls energy downward. Every spike of anger, every rush of fear, every burst of lust creates electrical turbulence in the solar plexus. The seed is consumed before it can ascend. Carey called this spilling the oil. You produce the sacred secretion every month. The question is whether you preserve it or waste it. During your 2.5-day window, reduce sensory overload. Limit screen time, avoid violent media, minimize conflict. The oil cannot rise through chaos. Third, fast, not because God demands sacrifice. Because digestion pulls energy downward. When your body is processing food, the electromagnetic current required to raise the oil is redirected to your gut. The ancients fasted during the regeneration window for physiological reasons. If your digestive system is working, your vagus nerve is occupied. The pneumogastric pathway that carries the oil from Bethlehem to Golgotha is blocked. Light eating or complete fasting during the 2.5 days allows the current to ascend uninterrupted. Fourth, activate the vagus nerve. The vagus is the pneumogastric, the pathway of ascension, and you activate it through breath. Deep nasal breathing stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. It lowers your heart rate. It reduces cortisol. It shifts your brain from beta survival mode to alpha coherence. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through your nose for a count of 6. Hold for 2. Repeat. When your breathing deepens, cerebrospinal fluid circulates more efficiently. When your nervous system calms, the oil can ascend without resistance. The flaming sword that guards the tree of life is your own chaotic nervous system. Calm the breath and the voltage barrier drops. Fifth, enter the stillness. Psalm 46:10 commands you to be still and know that I am God. This is not poetry. This is an instruction manual for shifting brain states. You cannot force gamma. You cannot manufacture resurrection through effort, but you can create the conditions. Sit in silence, withdraw the senses, regulate the breath, allow your brain to descend from beta to alpha. From alpha to theta, And if the oil has completed its journey, if the cerebrospinal fluid has reached the pineal, if the calcite crystals have activated, gamma ignites, 40 Hertz, sweeping front to back, binding fragmented awareness into unified consciousness. This is resurrection, not after death, during life, monthly. 6. Protect the 2.5 days. Once the oil enters the cerebellum, it must remain undisturbed for the full refinement period. Carey warned that anger, fear, or excessive sexual stimulation during this window pulls the energy back down into the lower centers. The resurrection is aborted. This is why every spiritual tradition emphasizes periods of withdrawal: the Sabbath, the vision quest, the silent retreat. These are not arbitrary religious customs. They are encoded instructions for protecting the regeneration cycle. You are not waiting for heaven. You are engineering it in your cerebellum, every month, 12 times per year. 12 fruits from the tree of life. The question is whether you preserve the oil long enough to reach the tomb, or whether you spill it before the third day. The church told you resurrection happens once, after you die, if you believe their doctrine. Biology tells you resurrection happens monthly, while you are alive, if you protect the circuit. And now you know why they never wanted you to find out. The tree of life is not a plant. It never was. It is the Arbor Vitae, the branching white matter of your cerebellum. Named by anatomists in 1740 because when they cut it open, they saw a trunk, branches, leaves, and roots inside your skull. The Hebrew word for tree, etz, shares the same root as the Hebrew word for spine, atseh. Strong's Concordance H6086 and H6096. The ancients encoded the spine as the tree because they knew what the church forgot. The central structure of life is your nervous system. The Greek word in Revelation is xylon, framework, structure, not dendron, the word for a living plant. The writers had both words. They chose structure, deliberately. 50 billion neurons arranged in a fractal pattern, 3 roots descending to your brainstem, 4 nuclei producing fruit, 700 square centimeters of processing cortex, and a monthly cycle producing 12 kinds of fruit, 1 for every zodiac sign, 1 for every 29.5-day lunar return. The church took this physiological blueprint and turned it into a fairy tale about a garden in Iraq guarded by angels, inaccessible until you die and pass their belief test. But the tree was never external, the oil was never botanical, the resurrection was never a one-time event after death. Every month when the moon enters your sun sign, a seed is born in your solar plexus. Bethlehem, the house of bread, it ascends through the vagus nerve, the pneumogastric, the Jordan River, and crosses at the medulla oblongata. Golgotha, the place of the skull, it enters the cerebellum for 2.5 days, the tomb. The refinement chamber where 50 billion neurons process the sacred secretion. And on the third day, if you have protected it, if you have silenced the lower centers, if you have fasted and breathed and entered the stillness, it rises. The oil reaches the pineal gland. The calcite crystals activate. Voltage spikes. Delta to theta, theta to alpha. Alpha to beta, beta to gamma. 40 Hertz sweeping your cortex front to back, binding fragmented awareness into unified consciousness. The electrical signature of resurrection. The flaming sword that guards the tree is your own chaotic nervous system. The cherubim are voltage thresholds in your brain. When you approach in fear and distraction, the barrier holds. When you approach in stillness, the sword drops. Silence the senses, time the cycle. Activate the vagus, protect the 2.5 days. This is what it means to eat from the tree of life, not waiting for permission from an external deity, not hoping for a future reward in a paradise you cannot see. Activating the circuit that has been dormant inside you since birth. The power plant was never destroyed, it was never lost. It was never guarded by angels in a garden archaeologists cannot find. It is in you. It has always been in you. And the ancients who wrote Genesis, who encoded Revelation, who built the mystery schools and passed down the secret teachings, they were not recording history. They were encoding biology. They were leaving you the blueprint for the only resurrection that matters, the one that happens in your cerebellum at 40 Hertz when the oil finally reaches the tree. The kingdom of heaven is within you, not as metaphor, as anatomy. Now you know where to find it.